Welcome back to Take Action News, everybody. David Shuster here. This has been another fascinating week in the world of Congress and their battles with the Obama administration. Here to talk with us about some of that, and they'll bring us the latest, is our own Take Action News editor-in-chief, Charlie Mitchell. Charlie, how you doing this weekend?
Hey, David, I'm doing great. It's great to be here.
Great to have you. So, Charlie, I know that Republicans on the Hill, they are blocking President Obama's nominee for the Environmental Protection Agency, Gina McCarthy. They claim that she's been unresponsive in her policy positions. Is that true?
Well, it depends how you classify unresponsive. They submitted what I think must be a world record of questions to her, written questions to the nominee, about 600 of them. She responded with over 120 pages of answers, and you can imagine if there are 600 questions, they're kind of all over the place. You know, why is the sky blue and things like that. And I was reading through, over the last couple of days, reading through her answers, which, to give the Republicans credit, they posted them on their website under the headline, Gina McCarthy's unresponsive responses to our questions. And I'm like, okay, well, that's interesting. Let's go in and take a look. These are pretty full answers that she's giving to these things. I have to say, I'm not an environmental professional, but I'm looking at it, and they look pretty forthcoming. The problem from the Republican side, I think, is they don't like the answers, which is different from not answering the question. They don't like the way that she's come back with this, and it really gets down to a policy dispute and the fact that, you have an administration that was elected and is in power that believes in doing some things, at least, to take on climate change, for example. The Republican majority does not believe in doing that, and EPA has been at the forefront of the greenhouse gas policies and other policies that Republicans find very objectionable. So she's kind of a lightning rod for Republicans, even though in D.C. and around the country, Gina McCarthy actually has a very good reputation for working across the aisle, for bringing in business people to sit down and try and work through policy disagreements and all of that. She's not some, the stereotypical wild-eyed radical. This is somebody who worked in Republican administrations at the state level in Massachusetts and all of this, and somebody who generally gets along pretty well with business people and with Republicans. But the fact of the matter is there's a fundamental policy difference between these sides, and unfortunately, instead of saying, well, the administration is of another party and of another view, and they're going to have people who reflect that, the Republicans seem to be using a variety of procedural methods and tactics to kind of slow down this nomination, and I think ultimately what they kind of want to do is put a stick between the spokes at EPA and just slow things down because, frankly, they don't like EPA, and they don't like what EPA does as a mission and what they get up every morning and have to do when they go to work.
Yeah, it's remarkable. I mean, that's fine. If they hate the EPA, I think we would all benefit, though, in our politics and our discourse if they would just come out and say it and say, we hate the EPA, we disagree with their positions, and that's why we're blocking her, instead of trying to hide behind this canard that somehow she's being unresponsive to their questions.